Greetings RC friends, welcome to Props and Wheels and to the review of this X320 2-channel, very large RC airplane. This is the J-15 model, but on the box it was also saying Fuiorum SU-27. So I guess it's a J-15/SU-27 replica. And this time we have a very nice weather, slightly breezy, about 5 miles per hour, but we have a nice runway here. I put on the landing gear, so I'm going to do a rolling takeoff with it. And if I haven't mentioned in the last video, this has big motors and the wingspan is 520 millimeters, which is over 20 inches. This is my largest, I think, or maybe one of the largest 2-channel airplanes. And last time I had a little bit of difficulty. It kissed the ground a couple times and got really muddy, but I cleaned it up. So it's still working. Yesterday I gave it another flight and it was okay, but I would like to point out a couple things during the flight. Some idiosyncrasies that keeps me from calling this a bud. It is not a dud, but it's not a bud either. It's somewhere in between. It's a good, okay airplane for a 2-channel. So let's get started with that flight. I'm going to put on my head camera and be in the air in a second. I'm wearing both of my cameras, my chest camera to show the controller in my hand, as well as my head cam to show you the plane in the air. So I'm going to turn it on. The red light is blinking. Now I'm going to turn on the controller. So up, down, and it is bound. It is rolling a little to the left. I'm not going to bother. It should take off pretty quickly. And I'm going to also turn off the light by pressing this button next to the trimmer to turn off the lights. We don't need them right now, and it will save a little bit of battery. And the wind, it keeps changing. It was coming from this direction, but as you can see now it's coming from my back. So I'm going to take off towards that direction, and then I'm going to show you how sensitive the trim wheel is. And I'm not putting it on the high rates yet, so let's take off first. Full throttle. As you see, it is quite tail heavy. If you give full throttle, it just takes the nose up. And right now it keeps like doing left turns, so I have to do with this. Play with the trim a little bit. And you have to baby the throttle. The stability control is actually very good on this one. It does not stall the plane. Even if you go like full up like that and the nose gauge goes up, somehow it finds a way to, stabilize. So right now it is kind of gliding. This is the glide. Doesn't like to glide. And is the trim set okay? I think it is. I'm going to show you something funny. So I told you this is not proportional, but it is in a way. Look, I'm using instead of using the stick, I'm using the trim to proportionally control it. So I have no idea. I mean, they put a proportional control and they didn't apply it to the stick. You can proportionally control the trim. And I'm rotating it, using it like a wheel, steering wheel. Do you see? I'm just going to turn left now. So everything is in there to control it proportionally, and they did not apply it to the right stick. In my opinion, this is stupid. Sorry my language, but yes, I find it really dumb. Not making this a proportional airplane. It would have flown so much better. Look, I haven't touched the right stick in the last minute or so. I'm flying with it to trim wheel. So this is like an idiosyncrasy to this plane. I'm turning right now. Increase the throttle slightly. Let's do a left turn now. Do you see? I'm just using the trim wheel to control the airplane, nothing else. And now I'm going to set the trim to as center as possible. Okay, now See, this is not proportional. This is on-off control, so you have to baby that stick. Let's bring it down a little bit so you can see it, so it's not a speck on the screen. I'm going to do a couple low passes. Now the wind is actually blowing from my left. I told it keeps changing. And I haven't even shown how crazy the high rates are, because this is low rates. I'm still flying low rates. You have to be careful with the throttle, especially in the turn. You have to increase it a little bit, but then if the nose goes too high, just decrease it for like a split second and increase it again to keep it flying at the same altitude. Otherwise the nose goes up, it starts climbing. So I'm going to set it now to high rates. So this button is high rates. So it is applying like full power. High rates is crazy. I mean, it just gets it. If I give full throttle and then do it, it gets you into trouble. Because, I mean, you have to just give like really small bumps. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm going to bring it a little closer. Let's decrease the throttle slightly. Do you see I'm just bumping the left? Oh, and it held it a little longer, and then it can get in trouble. So I'm going to switch back to low rates. Do a couple low and slow. Maybe a touch and go. Ooh. It bounced quite a bit, but hey, those thick wire landing gear and soft foam wheels are very springy, so probably didn't even feel it. So let's try another touch and go. Oh, don't hit that container, please. Whoa, what happened? It cut off. I don't know if the battery or not. Did the landing gear take the brunt of that crash landing? I hope so. Oh, I lost the front landing gear and one of the both of the props. Everything is found and intact. So 5 out of 5 during the destruction testing. So it's definitely a very strong airplane. Both of the propellers popped off, and as well as the front landing gear, but everything is intact. I just found them and then put them back in. I'm going to turn off the light, and the wind is coming towards me now. I'm just going to put it in this smooth section over here. Do another takeoff. The wind increased a little bit. All right, let's go. Cut down the power a little bit, let it stabilize, and I'm going used to this plane. You just have to be careful with the turns. Lose quite a bit of altitude, and I don't know why it lost that connection for a second. It may be due to maybe it flew behind that container, I don't even remember. Or maybe some turbulence right around it. It lost lift maybe. But right now against the wind it's flying beautifully, very stable. And I hope you can hear me because the wind has been increasing in the last 5 minutes. Let's keep it close. Bring it low and slow. During the turns you have to give a little bit of throttle. And don't sustain the turn, since this is not proportional. If you sustain it, let me show you what happens. If you sustain it, it's just like, well, actually it's not too bad right now. This full left turn. Let's try full right turn. You just have to increase the throttle. Oh, okay. That wasn't good. The left turn was okay, but the right turn went into a spiral and I couldn't come out of it. I should have probably given reverse control input to the left and then just increase the power gradually. And something came off. I think I was able to destroy it or damage it. We'll see. I see a part over there. Actually, it is the battery compartment door just popped off, and also the landing gear holders just ripped off a little bit, but I think it can still fly. Let's see. Do I have to put it back in? Nah. Who needs the third landing gear? I can do it on 2. Let's see if it's going to roll. It's really going through the destruction testing. Okay, let's see if it's going to take off. No. I think I need to fix the landing gear first. Here is my duct tape repair, and it looks good as new. And I was able to check also the propellers and then bend the tips back a little bit. I should have probably brought the spare parts, but this should do. And by the way, the wind direction changed completely, like 180 degrees now. It's coming from that direction. I told you, it's got a crazy wind today. Let's finish this review with another last flight and good landing, hopefully. I'm telling you, that stability control is doing really good. Even if the nose goes up like 80 degrees, it can still keep it stable somehow. I wish this was proportionate. It could have been a really nice airplane. And I think I need to give just a maybe slightly right trim. The trim wheel is extremely sensitive, as I demonstrated earlier, because you can use it. You can use it to turn around instead of the stick. And the lights are on, as you can see. The wind is blowing quite hard. Let's turn around and come over the grassy area on my left, and then try to do a good landing on the concrete. Let's turn it around and then do a stabilized, hopefully, approach into the wind. I'll take that. I'll take that, folks. In this wind, going through that, it is good and still working. I did not keep time of the flight, but it was pretty good. And let's check the battery, how much juice it's left. It still has 54%, so it didn't even use half of the battery. So I could have flown another 3-4 minutes probably. That's great. Good battery size, 2 cell, and good capacity for this airplane. So what is the final verdict? As I fly it more and more, I like it more and more. So out of 5, I give it a solid 4 props and wheels score. Why? Because first of all, it is sturdy. I crashed it so many times. First flight, this flight, and it keeps flying. I mean, it's difficult to break. It's made good. And the second thing is, it is big. it is bigger than the other microjets. It has, you know, huge motors that I like it. You know, it flies faster and it has more oomph. So that's a bonus. Over 20 inch of wingspan, that's great. And the third thing is, the landing gear are sturdy. I mean, I couldn't break the landing gear, but the insert came off. It is just a hot glue job. It's easy to fix, so I like it. And also, if you ever decide converting this to 3 or 4 channel, the locations exist here, so you can basically make, you know, some elevons out of these, aileron and elevators. It also has the built-in light strip. I love it because I can fly it during the calm summer nights. So why did I take points off? Well, one of them is the controller. As you have seen, it could have been made proportional, but they chose to make it on-off, the turn. I mean, of course, the throttle is proportional, but the turn is not. But you can use the trim wheel to turn it, so it doesn't really make sense. Why didn't they apply it to the right stick? If the manufacturer is watching these, please come out with the version 2 and then make this proportional, make it a little more controllable. And also the high rates doesn't need to be all the way on, you know, it's just like too much for this. For the 2-channel airplane, just dial that back down a little bit. You know, you don't need such a high rates. Anyway, I think it's still a good plane, especially if you find it for $29. If you look these days, the prices have gone up, so you may not be able to find it. But if you find it around $30, buy it. It's a good one, and it will give you hours of joy. Well, folks, that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments section. Stay safe and healthy, and keep those props and wheels spinning. Take care. Hope to see you on the next video. Bye-bye.